Hey, friends, and welcome to the Genius Way Show. I'm your host, Ben Hummell. I'm happy to be here with you this week, and I'm really glad that we're going to get into this topic today of not leaving your song unsung. And the whole point of not leaving your song unsung means you have a song, you have an expression, you have a gift, you have a handful of gifts, you have something to express while you're here. And we're all born with this thing. It's what I call your genius gifts, your creative dispositions, and that kind of bank account of creative expression that you were born with, that we're all born with. And it's important to know that, there's a significance to the point that there is only one of us for here for a limited amount of time. There's just one of us. There's one of you, one of me. And what you have to express somehow magically and mysteriously will fit into the world at large when you came to express it. In other words, your expression is not a contrivance from something that you made up. It's something you carry with you, something you were born with, that part of the task of this life is to find it and express it. So when you feel that inherent importance to the fact that you are here temporarily as a singularly unique individual, there is something that comes along with that feels like a responsibility. Now, let me kind of get into what that means. So when I'm talking about responsibility, I'm not talking about a burden on you. I'm not talking about, any kind of heaviness. I'm not talking about something that's imposed by others. I'm literally talking about the ability to respond as responsibility. And what we're responding to is that calling of our genius, the calling of our expressive self, the calling that comes from our seed of genius that we were born with. That thing, that is our life calling, and then there's usually a couple of them at least. And for a polymath, there might be 10 or 20. But the life calling is from that level of genius, and it comes with a mandate. It kind of is a mandate. It's an agenda. So in your core, you have an agenda to be a particular thing if this life is going to be a fulfilled one. If this life is going to be one of personal fulfillment and one of self-realization and of kind of, feeling a sense of life purpose. So all of these things are pinpointed in that seed of genius that we're all born with. So it's a beautiful thing to feel that responsibility to express the thing that you were born with, right? And so, in terms of the topic of this show today, we're going to go into why it's important not to leave that thing that you brought with you unknowingly, that seed of genius, why it's important not to leave that in the state of a seed. So let's talk about a seed. What is a seed? A seed is something that contains the potential for something greater than itself. So a seed at once is a complete thing. You can say, there's a seed. There's all kinds of seeds. Okay? Here's the seed. It's complete. But if you're given a seed and it contains potential to be something larger and more complex than it actually is as a seed, not to plant that seed and not to grow that seed is kind of a waste. That's your song not being sung. And the thing is, the seed, no matter if we know it's an oak tree, an acorn, or if it's a sunflower or whatever kind of seed it is, we know generally what it's going to become. But each one of those things is somehow unique in a really weird way. Every oak tree does not look the same, even though it's an oak. You can call it an oak. You can identify it as an oak, right? So your seed, even though you're just a human being and you were born in this year and you grew up here and this is your family was like this and your religion is like this, still your seed of genius is particularly unique. And part of our task here is to make sure that that seed gets planted in a certain environment in which that seed can grow into whatever it's meant to be. And we know this by how it feels. So if you ever feel that calling of like, oh, there's something in me that needs to be expressed that I'm not quite doing, there's something within me that's calling me to bring it out, and I don't really know what it is, the task is to listen really, really, really deeply for what that is and create some kind of framework that can be expressed in. So, for instance, when I was a kid, I loved rock and roll, and I used to sing, and all the lead singers were my idols and so forth, and I used to sing, and so I found a band and started singing in a band, and it just kind of, we didn't become famous, but it was great. It was fulfilling. It was purposeful. It was just, right down my alley as far as this hits the spot. This feels really good to be doing this, to be performing and singing like this. Okay. So in that way, that little way, I created a framework. Right now, I have ideas to share about genius. I have something to give to kind of impart ideas and kind of, instruction and guidance along the lines of self-expression. And so I've created books and coaching and therapy and this TV show as a framework through which I can put my genius energy. So when you feel that responsibility, it comes with, as I'm responding to that calling, it comes with an agenda. Find a place to express this thing. Find a way to get this thing out and give it the legs that it needs to have. The responsibility goes a little bit further even. If you know you came here with something to give the world, and I'm telling you, every one of us has come here with something to give the world, because that's how it goes. Whenever we express our genius self, we are making the world a little bit richer because we have gone out of our way to kind of give what we brought with us. And somehow, again, mysteriously, that benefits everyone else when we do that. And so if you know that you've come here with something and it's not yet expressed, the responsibility is, how do I create a channel of expression for this thing? I listen deeply for what it is, and how do I create a channel for where my expression can go? And so you might not think it matters, but it really, really does. It matters a lot that you are here, and that whatever your deep expression is, your genius expression is, gets expressed because of how it affects other people and how it affects the world and how it affects everything in your sphere of influence. And it might be 1,000,000 people, it might be one person, it might be 3 cats. We don't know what it is. But we do know there is a contribution for you and me and everyone else we know. There's a contribution to make that will affect positively the world around us. And that's what's important here. So I want to show you a little clip here. You probably know this story, but it's good to get a little reminder of this. Watch this clip about how things inadvertently can affect other things when we are doing something that we are meant to be doing. Let's check this out, and I'll see you on the other side.
Excuse me, young man. What is it that you were doing?
Throwing starfish into the ocean.
I must ask, why are you throwing starfish into the ocean?
The sun is up and the tide is going down. If I don't throw them in, they'll die.
But young man, Do you not realize there are miles and miles of beach and starfish along each mile? You can't possibly make a difference.
It made a difference for that one.
That's a little video that you can find on YouTube. And I really love that message. You know, it's a real famous story. But the point is that when you are doing what you came here to do, there's an importance that you have no idea how it's going to affect anyone or anything. You know, we just saw that starfish take a nice deep breath. We don't know what that starfish is going to do later on to help whatever community the starfish has at that point. It just keeps kind of going. But the main thing is to be able to express your genius, express the thing that's important to you, express the thing that you're feeling is calling you. And so the next step with this, you know, after feeling that responsibility, again, that lighter kind of ability to respond to your calling, the next thing that we feel is the importance of expressing what we have, not as a like an egoistic expression, not as something like, hey, look at me, but just as, I came here with something and I need to express this thing, and I need to take this self-expression seriously. I feel a mandate. I feel a task that I've been given, and it's my job to take this seriously or earnestly and get this expression out. Because again, I don't know who this is going to affect, and something is calling me to express this particular thing. And so the more we pay attention to that, the more credence we give to that calling feeling, that thing that just kind of never goes away. Like, let's say that your calling is something about the ocean, and no matter what you do, everything kind of keeps turning back to being in the ocean, working with fish or marine life, something, cleaning up beaches, whatever it is. There's something there that you need to pay attention to as you're calling, because it's going to keep giving you more and more and more clues as to what that calling specifies for you and how to get that expressed out of you. And so the feeling when you're expressing your genius, the feeling when you're expressing something that is so in line with your inner calling is like none other. It literally is a feeling of being so deeply connected to existence that existence and you are one, basically. You're kind of just moving in a state of flow. You're moving in a state of zen. You're kind of just right on the top of the wave. You're alive and active and calm at the same time. And so there's a beautiful story that you might want to check out. There's a movie called Billy Elliot, and if you haven't seen it, it's about a young boy who grows up in a working class neighborhood in England, and somehow within him, his genius quality, his genius aspect, what's calling him is ballet. And so this brings, as you might imagine, from a working class neighborhood, it brings a lot of challenges. There's not a lot of ballet dancers or male ballet dancers in that neighborhood. And so after he goes through all kinds of things and finally, is allowed to start expressing that, he has an interview with a ballet company. And so I want to show you this little clip here, and just take a look at this. Listen to how he describes his genius. Listen to how he describes dancing. And I think you're going to know what I'm talking about. And that is an amazing way to describe how it feels to be in your genius. Don't just keep it for some character on a movie. This is real, folks. This actually happens. You know, I have to say from my own experience, when I'm doing shows like this, or I'm sharing with people, or I'm working with a client in some way with either therapy or genius coaching, man, for me in particular, that's the best feeling in the world, because I am 100% available to that person or those people at that time. There's an exchange. There is a kind of a riding the wave of connection. To me, there's nothing better. I don't know why that is. When I get together with somebody or a group of people, and both of our lives change as a result of that getting together, as a result of that connection, that's right in my genius field. So guaranteed, there is something like that for you. And so it is calling you right now. It's calling you, and it will feel like electricity, just like Billy Elliot said. It'll feel like all those things. You have something like that. You either are aware of it, you're either slightly aware of it, or you're unaware of it. But if you learn to listen deeply, that genius aspect of you is calling you. Happens for every single one of us. It is calling you, and it is trying to remind you that you have something to express, something in particular that's going to make a difference for someone or something else on the planet. So we were talking about a seed, the seed form, the seed of genius, the seed of self-expression, the seed of your offering. Okay? And so again, the seed is complete as it is, but if it's not planted, it's not really complete. It is unfinished. It will die as a seed, and that is the most terrible thing to happen. If your gift that you came to this life to give, that's in seed form, dies as a seed, that's just really unfortunate, because it doesn't have to. So no matter what you've done or what your life looks like or who you are or where you live, there is something that's still a seed that wants to be expressed, that wants to grow into the full bloom plant or tree or whatever it is, whatever metaphor you want to use. There's something there that wants to grow into that. So don't let that thing die as a seed, because the seed is potential. The seed is possibility. The seed has the blueprint of your offering in it. And it's not just a drudgery to express the seed. It is like the greatest feeling in the world. To listen deeply, find that seed of expression, and make sure it gets out. You know, I mean, that's huge. That is a really big deal. And for people who, who are aware of this, this is a really, really important pursuit. So hopefully you're one of those people. Hopefully you're one of those people that really like, I need to know how to express what I have within me. I need to know how to get into this and how to really enjoy my life in terms of my organic expression. And this is right where I want to be. You know, sometimes when it comes to singing your song, expressing your genius, expressing your gifts, expressing your creative talents, sometimes the only difference in being able to express them or not is whether you believe or not that what you have to express is important. So how do you deal with that? How do you get into a place where what I have within me is so important to say that I need to spend time doing it? I need to make that effort to get it out. How do you get into that mindset where what I have to offer is valuable enough to spend time doing it? Okay, so if you're watching this show, you're probably already in that place. But my guess is that you waver back and forth. We have demanding lives. We have all kinds of moving parts in our lives. And sometimes our life purpose or our kind of genius expression that I'm talking about always kind of gets shoved to the back of the bus. It's the last thing on the list. So at some point in your life, that expression, the life purpose expression, the yearning for fulfilling work, that's going to be a priority to you. And that priority, that dawning on you that this is a priority, that might not happen by accident. You might need to help that to happen, to that, for that to become on the front of the line. Okay. And so after we pay our bills and after we take care of these other things, there is another level of the hierarchy of needs, which is the need for fulfilling work, the need for fulfilling self expression. And it is a need. It's no different than any other kind of need. It's just the next one. Okay. And so, what does it take for this to become real for you? What's it going to take for you to know what I have to say in terms of my offering to the world needs to have some priority put to it? It needs to be kind of, you know, tended to by me. It needs to be worked on. And so hopefully you're already doing some of this, but maybe you're not doing as much in terms of expressing your true self as you might want to. So what we're going to do here, I'm going to take you on a guided visualization here. And remember, these visualizations that I do every week, these are for you to pull up secrets from your own prima conscious layer of consciousness. That prima conscious is the layer of consciousness that contains all of your genius qualities, your gifts, your callings, your special skills, and your special way of expressing those things. So this guided visualization is about how to pull up something that is really important to you that you're going to be able to spend time tending to, nurturing, and caring for as you begin to express it. So take a look, and I'll see you on the other side. Close your eyes and take a deep breath in and then deeply exhale. Imagine that you're in your backyard. It's a sunny, warm day. You have a shovel in your hands and you're digging a hole for a plant that you just bought at the garden store. As you dig into the soil, just under the surface, your shovel hits something hard that you didn't expect was there. You kneel down and reach into the hole and pull out a small wooden box that seems to have been buried there for a long time. Mysteriously, this box has your name inscribed on the top of it, and you were meant to find it. You wipe off the dirt and slowly open the lid of the box. Inside the box, you see the only item in the box, a single seed. What are you feeling as you see this seed in the box with your name on it? This is a magic seed that gives a vision of a person's life purpose to whoever plants it. So you take the seed, you put it back in the hole you were digging, and cover it up with soil. As you sit on the ground beside the planted seed, you begin to see a vision of yourself engaging in your life purpose. What images do you see? What do you find yourself doing? How does it feel to be expressing your life purpose? And now, the vision reveals a small action to you that you can do today to begin to express your life purpose. What is that small action that's part of the larger expression of your life purpose? This small action is the foundation of expressing your seed of genius to the outside world. This is how the expressive seed you were born with begins to grow and thrive. And now you're coming back into the present moment. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes and come back into the room. Hey, so how was that experience for you? Were you able to pull up some image about what your genius seed is wanting to manifest into? And were you able to see yourself moving into a life expression in your current life that is a way of expressing that genius seed? So remember, this seed is supposed to grow into something bigger. And you don't know exactly what it's going to grow into, but in order to give it a chance, you have to take the seed. And in this case, the seed is the genius expression that you can put out into the world at this point in your life. And you got to see where it goes. Like right now, I'm talking to, according to my statistics, about maybe 14,000 people watching this show. And it keeps growing and growing and growing every week. And this is where my seed is going. This is where my genius seed is being expressed, and it kind of goes on and on and on from there. Same thing with you. You have something to express. It's important to the world that it gets out there. You have to spend time on it, and you have to plant it in a certain circumstance in which it can grow. And that circumstance is different for everybody in the world. Mine is here. Yours might be in the garden or in your business place of business, or who knows where it is, but you do. So remember, all these things that you discover in the guided visualizations are yours. They are gifts coming from your prima conscious. They're coming from a deep layer of your awareness that most likely, most of the time, you're not aware of. But the things that bubble up as images when you get that prompt to look into your genius, look at what my gifts are, look at how I can express these gifts, look how I can grow this seed in the world. That's all coming from a deeper part of you that is deeper than your psychology. Very big deal, very big distinction. So, in order to express genius, we have to go deeper than psychology, because psychology is something that happens after we're born. Psychology is something that happens, in other words, the forming of the personality, whoever's going to be making decisions, that comes afterwards. We're going for something that we are already born with before we even learn to talk. This deep, deep intelligence that's in a deeper layer of our awareness, that's the blueprint for what we're here to express in the world. So hopefully you take these images and these experiences with earnest. I don't want to say seriously because I don't want to make this heavy, but take it earnestly, like care about it. Make it matter to you. I guarantee whatever you're seeing out there of people expressing their genius, it matters a great deal to them. Just like that little clip I played to you in the beginning of the show. It matters a great deal. And a blessing is if you can find that thing that matters to you so much that you spend your time on it in order to get it out, to express it, to grow the seed so that others who come after you can benefit from it. Each born with a seed of genius that's meant to grow and thrive during our lifetime. For those who feel their callings really deeply, it's not enough just to own the seed. It becomes imperative to find some hospitable place and situation where the seed of our creative and expressive self can thrive. Whatever efforts you make to sing the song of your genius, the song you were born with, will be met with encouragement, aid, and support because your expression is meant to be out in the world. We're heard by those who will benefit from hearing it. So return again and again to your genius callings and keep going until everything you have to express finds a path and a way forward from within you. We're all waiting to hear you sing your song. Well, that's our show for this week. I really want to tell you how much I appreciate you tuning in and streaming this show. I enjoyed spending every minute of this time with you. And I want to invite you to contact me through my website, thegeniusway.com. Don't forget to sign up for a free membership, and that gives you access to my resource guide, which is very, very informative in terms of a personal journey that you're on. And until we see each other again, stay curious, be kind to yourself, and remember that your genius has something to say.
Thanks for watching The Genius Way Show with Ben Hummell. Make sure to visit thegeniusway.com for the resources you need to help you on your personal life journey. You can contact Ben at ben@thegeniusway.com. And you can follow The Genius Way with Ben Hummell on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Thanks for streaming The Genius Way Show with Ben Hummell.